Hi folks, and welcome to another episode of The Franchise Entrepreneur. Today I am going to talk to you about multiple streams of income. Now, if there was ever a time when this subject has become more and more relevant and more important, then it's certainly now. You know, something that I've been quite keen on for a number of years, and largely because when my business hit a rough patch a few years ago, it became obviously very clear to me that I was so reliant on one form of income. And I made plans at that point to try and create more income streams in order to protect myself, my family, going forward. Now, some of this can come down to timing, because it sounds pretty good on paper, doesn't it? When you put it onto paper, I have multiple streams of income. But it can also be a distraction as well if you don't look to do this at the right stage or timing of your personal development, but also the development of your existing business. So there's no point in looking at this if you're at the beginning of your first business, because that takes up so much of your time. And if you're going to get preoccupied chasing other opportunities, then you could take your eye off the ball very easily off your initial business and see that going down the pan whilst you're chasing the new toy or the shiny penny of your other business idea. So I get what a lot of people say is that, you have to get one business ticked off and up and running and working smoothly before you then look at the other. And I would agree to that. If you've got a foundation business, and that can be one restaurant, it could be one cafe, one coffee shop, one whatever it is, one income stream that's coming in and it's running pretty smoothly without you having to spend all of your time focusing on it, then that's a good time to then start looking around for a second opportunity. Now, ideally, of course, you want to carry on developing your initial business, but you also want to be looking at something and a revenue that is in a different sector from your existing one, which is something I've not been very good at. When I took the opportunity to try and create a second income stream, I did it, but it was still in the same sector. So, for example, I had my restaurants. I then moved into franchising, but it was franchising those restaurants. And then I went, okay, I'm in franchising of that particular brand. I need to diversify. Well, how did I diversify? I stayed in the restaurant industry, but I diversified into virtual or dark or ghost kitchens. Again, still in the same sector. And then I done it again and I created another concept, which was a sit-down restaurant, which was my pizzeria. The problem is that they are still all in the same sector, although they are generating different incomes from different companies. Now, that's all well and good. It gives you some element of protection if one brand starts to suffer. And if it's a slightly different concept, i.e. I've got franchising, I've got deliveries, I've got a sit-down restaurant, and I've got takeaway. So you've covered a lot of bases there within the hospitality sector. Obviously doesn't protect you when the virus hits, because that just wipes out the whole sector. And that's the sort of, no one can obviously see something like that coming. But if I'd moved out of the sector into, say, property or into online, I would have had better protection. And that's something that I did intend to do, but I never got around to it. So it's certainly something that I'm now looking at. We're also doing mentoring. We also do consultancy. So we have moved the goalposts, but again, the mentoring and consultancy is largely around restaurants and hospitality. So over this period of lockdown, I've been looking at ways in which I can truly diversify and move and safeguard and protect our income for the future, is to truly diversify. And certainly we're in a fortunate position that we do have a little bit of excess cash. There's obviously a lot of unknowns in terms of the virus and when we're going to open up on hospitality, and the Prime Minister's announcement yesterday didn't really help any regard to giving any kind of clarity to that question. But we've probably got enough where we can start to look at property, buy-to-lets, and at some point look to do something online. Now, we're not rushing into online. I'm not going to rush into doing too many things too quickly, for the simple reason that I already have a number of irons in the fire. As such, if you look at what we're doing, we have only just set up our consultancy business. That will come alive a lot more once the whole sector is back to life. We've got our virtual kitchens, which we had numerous deals on the table for before all of this kicked off. They will come back, or at least some of those will come back. We've got our franchising, we've got our restaurants. We were about to open up a new restaurant. So there's still a lot in there, but I'm going to use the next sort of 6 months to focus on one particular new income stream. And that is going to be something to do in property. And then once I'm settled on that, whilst I'm also concentrating on what I have, my existing business, I can then move on to the second one, which was probably going to be something online. But it's really important not to overload yourself. It's very easy to look at this period and go, wow, I should have been doing this, I should do this, I should do that. And the problem is that if you go off in a lot of different directions, you end up achieving nothing. You've still got your foundation business to focus on, concentrate on, get right, and then add something to it. Now, if you can add something to it, even if it's just one area a year, you're really kind of helping to safeguard your income going forward. That year will go very quickly. If after 2 years you've added another 2 income streams, that's great. I've got quite a lot going on mine, but I certainly don't want to add too much. But I am very conscious of the fact that I've been very dependent upon one sector. So for me, it's property. Properties are obviously a relatively safe bet. I mean, there's going to be some opportunities that come about through this virus. I'm not expecting property prices to tumble significantly, but even if they come down 10, 12%, and I know some of the projections I've seen are from so-called experts are anywhere between 6 and 30%. I guess it depends on the location. But I think there's an opportunity there now to move into that sector and to help an income stream, but also something that a lot of people don't think about going forward is if you've got a family, how attractive is your business going to be for them to enter into your business at some point in the future? For me, I've thought about this quite a lot. Are my kids really going to be that interested in getting involved in a business that's purely around one sector, around restaurants? Despite its diversification in terms of franchising and different types of restaurants, are they going to be into it? If I can bolt on more businesses and more opportunities that they will see as opportunities for when they hopefully are at an age where they would consider coming into the business, it makes it more attractive. So, there's another reason for doing this other than creating another multiple income stream. It's about making my business attractive to keep my family involved in it at some point in the future. If you fast forward 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and I'm involved in property as well as the hospitality industry and doing something online as well, there's a lot there for my kids to be interested in, covering numerous sectors. So that's me moving into another sector, another industry. But if you're someone that's already in property, then you're facing a similar sort of dilemma. If everything that you're doing is based around property, and like I said, property is one of the safer investments that people can make, but it still comes with some risk. And I know that there are different options for someone that's in property, i.e. similar to me in restaurants. So on restaurants, we've moved into franchising, we've moved into different types of restaurants, we've done delivery models and so on. In property, it would be, buy to let, single units, HMOs, service accommodation, things like that. But it's still all in property. So for you might be considering, the complete reverse to what I'm doing. So instead of doing property, you might consider, I think hospitality might be something that would potentially be a good revenue stream. I might be considering a franchise, buying a restaurant, buying a bar, because there's going to be plenty of opportunities for you to do that because this industry is obviously going to have a lot of casualties. And those casualties are some very, very good businesses that have been very well run over the years and unfortunately are just not going to get through this. It could be that there's collaborations for you to do. So maybe you have got the cash but you don't want to run it, and therefore you could buy into a business that is in some distress. So I know one of the reasons why a lot of people don't get involved in hospitality, restaurants, bars, etc. is because there's too many moving parts. It's not passive enough for them. That's why they're in property in the first place, because it's more passive income. But there's no reason why this can't become passive income for you, particularly if you collaborate with existing operators who have got the expertise to run it but are just now in difficulty. And there's going to be a lot of people out there who will be very open to that kind of conversation. So it's certainly something for you to consider. It's actually another opportunity for me as well. We're not awash with money, but we've potentially got enough skill sets, enough to offer a business that is maybe struggling or will be struggling, and give them a lifeline. So, it's not another opportunity for us, but it is still within my sector. But as I said, if you're not in the sector, you are in property or something else, or you've got all your interests and investments in stocks and shares, there's going to be some massive opportunities for you to get involved in hospitality if you've never been involved in it in the past. Now, there are, despite what you may have read, some fantastic money to be made from hospitality in the right businesses. So the returns could be far outweigh anything that you've made on property if you get it right. What is it on property? Anywhere between 6 and probably 12% is probably the top end of rental yields. Easily make that on a franchise, no problem at all. And if you talk to the right franchises, you could still keep it fairly passive in the sense that the franchisee could manage it on your behalf, or have a management team or a management company look after it. We do that. We manage franchises for other people. So there are opportunities out there. I just would like to think that people are using this time to take the blinkers off and look at other opportunities outside of their comfort zone and their existing sectors, to look to see where the opportunities are. It's certainly something that I'm looking at. It's probably long overdue. I'm actually a little bit annoyed with myself that I didn't move into the online and property side probably a year ago when I actually had the opportunity and I didn't take it. But yeah, that's something that I've learned, at 51 years old, and this is quite a basic rule of economics and business and entrepreneurship, that don't keep all your eggs in one basket, isn't it? So yeah, mistake made, lesson learnt, and now to correct that. And I'm using this opportunity of all of this time that we've got on our hands to look at where the potential is, whilst not ignoring the existing business that I've got. I'm doing lots of collaborations as well. I think collaboration is going to be one of the big words that's going to come out of this lockdown. We've had pivot, haven't we? Lockdown. But collaboration, I think, is a new fashion word. I think that's going to describe a lot of opportunities and potential for other people to get involved in other people's businesses and help them and help themselves and create more income streams for them. There's going to be a lot of people out there, a lot of businesses who need partners to collaborate with them to help them through this. So loads of opportunity out there. And I think that's going to be the case for the next 18 months. So in many respects, I'm actually quite looking forward to it. We've already got some really good collaborations on the go, which won't really take off until all this lockdown has been at least opened up a little bit and relaxed. So you'll be expecting some big announcements from me over the coming months, because we've got a lot going on. So to just summarise, there's never been a better time now for you to be considering diversifying You've done everything you probably can do to look to stabilize your business, get it ready for reopening, etc. But you should also be looking at diversifying. If there's ever been a lesson learned from this, is diversification is something that all of us really need to be taking on board. There are going to be lots of opportunities out there, both in the hospitality sector and in property and many, many others. So this is a good time to be looking at this. It's not all about online. Of course, online is strong at the moment. And if you can fit that in as a potential new business for you at some point, all well and good. Probably something I'll be looking at some point in the future. But for me, there are ones closer to home, ones I probably know a little bit more about, ones that I think have shown a very good steady return over the years. And for me, it's property initially. And for you, if you're already in property, it could be you're looking at the reverse and looking at restaurants. Don't dismiss hospitality and restaurants as a write-off. It will come back with a bang. It will come back very strong. There's lots of money to be made from hospitality, and you will never get this opportunity again to invest in it. And if you are looking for passive income, there are opportunities for you to still have that and still get involved in hospitality, because a lot of businesses are out there looking for partners who've got some money behind them but don't want to get too involved in the day-to-day running of the business. These are good businesses that are only going to fail because of the situation that we find ourselves in with the pandemic. So this is an opportunity for you that you may never get again. And likewise for me on property. So, I could equally be looking for collaboration on properties as well, because my skill sets are not necessarily in property. So it works both ways, doesn't it? But anyway, look, so this is all about additional revenue streams, diversifying, collaborations, and using the opportunity of this lockdown and pandemic to actually safeguard your business for the years to come. You can take a positive outcome from this mess. And I hope we're all in a position to see some upside from this eventually. So take care of yourselves, stay safe, and speak to you again soon. And please leave your thoughts and feedback on my podcast, and let me know if there's any subjects that you want me to cover in the future. And I will speak to you again soon. The next podcast is out on Wednesday. Take care.